All right, Brad Holmes, one of the best GMs in football, is here. What's going on?
Doing good. Had a good day today. Had a good week actually. I think we're in a good place heading into Atlanta and preseason number 2.
Do you like a quiet camp? Do you like some excitement? How do you gauge that when there's not a
Well,
lot of
I think
headlines?
it's always excitement
Okay.
at every camp. I don't know, because the thing about it is that we might not have like all these frontline stories going on currently, but we have a lot of depth competition
Yeah.
that we're really excited about, and so that is the noise for us.
What did you learn about your team last year?
Last year, I think we have a very resilient football team, and that's what the message has been since day one is, we talk about grit and, persevering through the adversity. And so when we had all those injuries that we had accumulated, I do think that, a lot of those guys stepped up and they did their part, as well as they could. And it also, I think it was a more confirmation of what we've been preaching about, the collaboration of everybody working together. So when you say next man up, like scouting department can get a guy, but then the coaches got to get him ready to go really quickly. So I think you showed a resilient group.
Obviously, it didn't end the way you wanted to, but
Yep.
you mentioned it, next man up. There's a lot of coaches who say next man up, but
I
very
know.
few live it like you
Yep.
guys did last year. And there were some defensive metrics where you guys got better as you lose 2 players a game, then somehow you
Yep.
get better the next week.
Yep.
Explain inside this facility what that was like. We have the stress, pro scouts, hey, let's go out and get this guy. Like, explain what December was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's stressful either way, but honestly, I hate the injuries for the players. Like, I hate it for the players from a personnel department, coaching staff. Unfortunately, we know some attrition is coming. We don't know how far the extent is going to be. But actually, man, we got kind of fired up about just being able to kind of roll up our sleeves and do our jobs and like, man, let's just go and find players
fire
and try to do the best thing
Yeah.
for the position. So, that was kind of the cool element about it because we hadn't been in that position.
As that was happening, who impressed you most? Whether it was a player or a coach, who was like, damn, this guy's doing his job?
Oh, I mean, I think it's all stated. Like, as many injuries that was on defense, I thought Aaron Glenn did an amazing job, just kind of how he kept things together, adjusted to the players that we had. And then we just had a lot of guys just step up, like guys like Pat O'Connor, that's been a veteran, that's been on practice squads for a long time, just ready to go and being able to perform and, keep us in position.
Real quick on that, what are Jets fans getting with Aaron Glenn? You mentioned him.
Man, they are getting a fiery guy that's all about the work. He's going to preach physicality. He's going to preach situations. He's going to preach discipline, detail. They definitely got a good one.
Explain something about Dan Campbell that you think is appreciated inside this facility, but is not known, whether that's the media or the fans, just about what he's like on a day-to-day basis.
I think Dan is a pretty open book. He's about as authentic as it gets. So I don't know if it's actually a secret about what it is, but man, he's such open-minded, outside the box thinker. I mean, just what he thinks about, and he brings stuff up to me all the time. I'm like, man, I didn't even think about that. And it's like, and he's kind of casually just brings it up like, no, it's just an idea. And I'm like, no, that was a damn good idea. So I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I think everybody knows he's a special head coach. And what I always say about him is that which makes him a special head coach is that he's a special human being. And, he's so authentic that those special traits always come out.
3 years ago, I think, you said to me, Jared Goff's not a bridge quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were a lot of people nationally who were rolling their eyes at that back then, 3 or 4 years ago when he first gets here. And then he wasn't. He's a franchise guy, and he's going to be a franchise guy for a long time. If you could take me through the lessons that you think other teams should learn about the quarterback journey from what you guys have done the last couple of years with Jared, what would it be?
I would say patience. Jared, what I've always said is, though, Jared had a lot of early success. And, when you reach the pinnacle of getting to a Super Bowl and then it doesn't go the way that you really want it to go, you're talking about a guy that's 24, 25 years old that has a lot of ability, that has all those other intangible traits with, being smart and the mental toughness and all that. The career is not defined yet. I always said about Jared, man, he kind of came in with, he probably had one of the more upsides in terms of growth that he had to do, and he was still growing. So that's why I've always had confidence in him. But I would just preach this: you got to be patient, especially at that position.
Yeah. To that end, you mentioned a couple years ago another great line. You said first year was the HVAC year, then comes the chandelier. Once everything gets built, I'm curious what stage you think this team is in now.
I would say responsibility phase now. We're in a unique position now where I was just saying earlier today at start of practice that, what's becoming harder is the young developmental players that we've always liked. And we were like, since we've been here, we first got here, we had room for all those guys. And so now as the roster's improved and, the contracts has been distributed out, it's become a little bit harder to just keep as many of those guys. So that's really, but you have to do the responsible thing. And it even goes back to free agency. I kind of mentioned that, everybody's like, well, you didn't spend a lot of money and all that. Well, first of all, like, when you spent $16 million on a corner, it's not pocket change, first of all. But I understand what they're saying. Everybody wants the activity and the high price names and all that. But we had to practice responsibility, and I think it's the stage right now.
All right, quick hitters. Number one, what do you think called badasses? Most badass person in football you've ever been around?
Most badass person in football I've ever been around. Man, you really put me on the spot, man.
And there's a lot of
Are you saying a player or a coach?
A player. I mean, it could be a coach. If there's a crazy coach I don't know about, I'd love to hear that. But like, with the Rams, Aaron Donald's a popular one.
I was just about to say, like, Aaron Donald quickly came to my thought process immediately. He was pure badass, but I would say Penei Sewell comes to mind quickly too.
Yes, tell me about Sewell. We're about to get him. What makes him special?
Man, it's so much. Like, he's gifted, obviously. Like, he's genetically gifted. He's got athletic ability, but it's just the toughness and the grit and the intelligence and how much he hones his craft. And, like, he never is looking for an easy way out. Guys that reach that level and have the big contract, that's when you can start kind of, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that. All off season, he's working. He's trying to still get better. And that was a lot like how Aaron Donald was. It's just almost like you almost have this, like, undrafted mentality.
Yeah, almost. That's what Andrew Whitworth said, that Aaron Donald was on this show. When I asked him the same question about badasses, he said he's the only player he saw that every day of his career played like an undrafted free agent, worked out like an undrafted free agent. It's June 3rd. No one cares about anything, and Aaron Donald's in the gym acting like he has to make the team.
And that's often the separator, man. That's often the separator. It's like it's mindset, mentality, those intangible qualities. Everybody's looking for the upside of the physical traits, how big, strong, and highlight plays, and Man, all that stuff doesn't matter if you're not wired right. And so guys like Penei Sewell, we got a lot of other guys on this team too, man. But, Penei Sewell, Aaron Donald, like, those guys are just wired a different way.
I love that.
That has the ability and wired that way.
Love that. Another quick one for you. Most impressive newcomer.
Most impressive newcomer. Look. DJ Reed, obviously, he was a big free agent signing, but being around him every day, some guys, we do things a little bit different here. We're used to kind of taking the hard road, and it's all about the work. There's no shortcuts. Everything's earned, and he is actually, some guys have to get adjusted to our culture. This guy was an instant upgrade and add to our culture. So he's been on top, great football player, but just his mindset, his intangible qualities has been impressive.
Last thing for you, we've been asking all the GMs. So we do something with players called one rep back. You get to do a play over from your career.
Okay.
With GMs, we ask, what's the scouting report you wish you had back? Whether that's when you were a scout or not. So Gutekunst yesterday gave us Frank Gore. Veach gave us Fred Warner. Puka Nacua actually was Brandon Beane. So what, in your whole career, what's the one I wish I pounded the table for this guy?
I would, the one that I've spoken about most recently is Puka Nacua. That is, as my personnel staff, that's the one that I brought up. That's like, man, like, Like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. But you know what? If you don't recognize those things, you know, if you don't self-assess yourself constantly, you can't grow and you can't get better, you know. So everybody wants to preach, you know, humility and being humble and all that. You got to be honest to be humble. And so you just have to be honest about, you know, if you missed out on something, it's something you could have done a little bit better.
Brad Holmes, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.